advise the public that the Seventh-day Adventist Primary School will be closing today at midday in light of the inclemency of the weather. Lunch will be served early, at about 11:30, and school closes at midday for the Seventh-day Adventist School in St. Kitts, located there, of course, at Pond site in Bastille. So those parents, guardians, relatives, etc., please be guided accordingly. The Seventh-day Adventist School closes early today at midday. Of course, we have been advised that we might experience some severe showers, some heavy downpours this evening, and we have seen videos, photos of what has happened in other sister CARICOM territories and beyond. So we ought to be prepared just in case that happens here. Alright, we will recall a number of times when the guts have run and have taken down with them a number of vehicles, and in few cases lives of our beloved citizens. So we have to be on our guard. We welcome the rain, of course, but we know that a lot of it, large amounts of it, can create problems if we don't take appropriate measures to prepare and counter it. Okay, so bear that in mind. I want to remind the public as well that on several occasions, persons were invited to be part of this program here. In fact, persons who have asked, they take the initiative and they ask to be a part of the show, and we welcome them, and then they do not show up. In most cases, they do advise in advance, whether it be an hour in advance or a day in advance or more, that they will no longer be making it. But there are times when no excuse me, no report at all, no comment, no indication as to why they did not show up, that they will not show up and why they did not show up. We've had that from a couple of individuals and organizations. But that is the name of the game. It happens in all areas of life. People promise all kinds of things, not just the politicians now. People, teachers, parents, businessmen, individuals, relatives promise all kinds of things, knowing very well that they cannot or will not deliver. And I remember telling my teachers, never promise a child anything that you have no intention of fulfilling, either because you cannot or you don't have the means. You cannot or you don't have the authority. You don't have the means or the authority to deliver. Whether it be a gift or punishment, don't ever promise a child, a student, anything that you very well know you will not be able to deliver on. The same thing applies to parents. Don't ever promise a child anything which you know you have no intention or no capability of delivering. So I would appreciate that. Those folks who asked to be part of the show or who are invited to be part of the show, if you cannot make it, please advise early so that alternative arrangements can be made. There are times when I've had to tell a particular invitee or someone who has made a request that no, I've already booked another individual, another group, only to find that that individual or group does not appear, which means that the other person who would have requested permission to be on the show would have also lost out. So we don't want that to happen. Thank you very much for confirming. Just to advise the public as well, of a number of parents kept been asking me when they see me, hey, I didn't know you're back from Cuba and so on. I've been here since April. And they want to know if I've resumed classes, and I keep telling them, I think I've said it here twice, said it now for the third and maybe final time, that I have resumed classes just last month, and they are on Mondays and Tuesdays for now, English and mathematics, with a focus on English, of course, emphasis on English in particular. So you're free to come along or send your relatives or children at Washington National High School, Mondays and Tuesdays at 5 o'clock. Also, there are some individuals who are interested in the game of Scrabble. We have There is, of course, Scrabble and a world Scrabble competition from time to time in various places. It has been held here in the Caribbean on more than one occasion. Then there are persons who are interested in the game, and there are some of us who would like to have an organized structure to deal with matters relating to Scrabble, just as you have for other sports, drafts and dominoes and football and netball and so on. We want to have something for Scrabble, so we're meeting on Thursday coming. It's the day after tomorrow at 5:30 at the Girl Guides headquarters on Taylor's Range. Everybody knows where that is, the Girl Guides headquarters on Taylor's Range. Remember, Taylor's Range is the street where you find the headquarters of the Solid Waste Management Corporation, the Taiwanese Embassy, just below where Bassi High School now is situated, the temporary Bassi High School, and it's also the street on which you find the headquarters of the Brimton Hill Fortress National Park Society. So Taylor's Range, 5:30 on Thursday. Try not to get there after 6 o'clock, but we invite you to come and be a part of it. I am going to be a part of it, just like everybody else. I hope to be a part of it. Not sure who the leaders are, but doesn't matter. Let's go and be a part of it if we're interested in the game Scrabble. It's a word game. Demands a lot of concentration, strategy, focus, and so on. And you learn a lot of words. You learn a lot of things from that particular exercise. So you're invited. We have a free and open line today, so you can call us when you wish at 465-2555 and talk to us about, as usual, what concerns you. Okay? I hope to have shortly a representative from the Department of Consumer Affairs to talk to us about some of the matters that we've been discussing here. Things that we see happening in supermarkets in particular, but with stores, shops and stores in general. Alright? So, we hope to have that individual or individuals to come and talk to us about those matters pretty soon. Now, yesterday, we were talking about the fact that a particular company has claimed to develop or to have developed a vaccine for corona, to prevent corona. And we were discussing whether it will be mandatory, it will be made compulsory for everyone to take this vaccine. And I was hearing that in a particular part of Europe, persons who don't take the vaccine will not only not be allowed to travel, but they won't be able to access their bank accounts, along with other restrictions, if persons do not subscribe to taking the vaccine. What do you think of that? Are we creating a scenario which is unreal, which is unlikely to happen, or is this very much a probability? Not just a possibility, it is possible, but are we creating a probability that in order for one to continue to enjoy the rights and freedoms that he has been accustomed to, that are enshrined in constitutions, by the way, that these are going to be threatened by a refusal to accept the vaccine that purports to prevent corona? We don't know. Talk to us, call us, and discuss with us as per usual. Alright, let's see, we have our first caller, I think. Okay. By the way, there seem to be a few issues with the telephone, but keep trying and you will get through eventually. But we do know that there has been one or two problems with the phone. Let's take this caller. Hello, caller.
Hello. Hello, good morning, Dr. Blake.
Morning, sir.
Lovely rainy day.
Yes, you bet.
And those of us who live on the lowland, just take precaution. And keep your eyes and your ears out.
Definitely.
Be on the alert to give us a Kim Collins, eh?
Okay.
Sprint to the hills.
Sprint to the hills.
Right, follow the animals then, because they know what coming, you know.
Yeah. Matter of fact, talking about that,
Yeah.
the scientists seem to have agreed that earthquakes are predicted by animals, that certain animals change their behaviors whenever an earthquake is impending or imminent. But we have not yet developed the science of recognizing those changes in certain animal behavior, particularly dogs. And what was the other animal? Dogs in particular, but some
Elephants too.
Sorry?
Yeah, over the years I've been hearing elephants.
Okay. Yeah, but I was referring to those that are here amongst us in St. Kitts and Nevis.
Okay, right.
Yeah. Well, go ahead.
Yeah, well, I know about the birds.
Okay, birds as well.
So the little boy, when the old people used to say, where do I come? Where do I come? When you see all the birds them gone, where do I come in?
No, but I was referring to earthquakes in particular. You know, those are difficult to predict.
Earthquake. No, well, I haven't observed any animal.
That's difficult to determine, you see, because you know earthquakes strike without warning, more or less. But it is said that the animals, if we were to be paying close attention, will notice that. But this is after the fact that the animals would have begun to behave differently. They would have begun to behave differently just before the earthquake struck. But that's a science.
That is a fact. That is a fact. We're supposed to learn from the animals, right?
It's a science we are yet to perfect. Yes.
When we see them operating in a different behavior or manner, look out, something coming.
Definitely.
Now, Brother Blake, I have to commend you highly, and which I always do even before you start to do Frank and Candid. Because when you were going to school, I used to look at you. Most times I see you walking, coming from school by yourself, walking cool, and whatever was on your mind, I could see you meditating. Okay. And I say, that boy, they're going to come a great man, you know. A great man, and I've been watching you from that time.
I see.
And even now, you exhibit what you stand for. No nonsense and righteousness you stand for.
Yes, that's me.
Anybody come on your program and disrespect you as a person and the host of the program and disrespect the entire listening audience, you cut them. And when they realize that they're wrong, they don't come back. So I admire you for that. Keep that up. Now, I have a little thing to say personally.
Yes.
Now, last night there was a program on ZZ, the same radio station. The question was asked about, women in high offices, especially in election and all this thing. Well, I said, Queen Elizabeth of England, she is a lady for young women to admire.
Yes.
Because she has been reigning. She's the longest female reign in leadership of our country. So people should admire her. Take from that. Well, the great Pan-Africanist had me told off. Well, that was his right to say what he wanted to say. Fine. But if you got the opportunity to leave where you are and go to a place where you are talking about the great Africa, how come you're still stifling yourself in a white man country and you have the money and the privilege to go to Africa and you ain't gone? And how come you have the privilege and opportunity to come to your country where you neighbor string berry and you ain't coming? For years you ain't coming. But you're going to another country 60 miles southeast of your country. And you so got with the Queen Elizabeth that said that disrespectful to black people and who did this or that and terrorist Queen Elizabeth that and calling the woman a kind of deplorable name. Well, all I have to say to such individual, take your money, buy a plane ticket, go to England, go with a PA system and a placard, and go down in front of Buckingham Palace and protest and tell them the reason why you come to protest. That's all I have to say. Because old people say money talk and something down the road walk.
Yes.
Okay. I have known 2 persons leave here and everything out them wants to go. They want to go back home to Africa. Want to go. Well, but the opportunity came. But they ain't reach Africa yet. They ain't reach Black Africa yet. They reach France. And I think it's Argentina they reach. So, money talk, what they call it, money talk and something behind walk. Brother Blake, thank you very much for taking my call and keep your standard up.
Very well.
Because I behind you 100%.
Thank you.
Don't stand for no nonsense and a bad word and you shop.
Thank you.
Okay, then have a good day, brother.
Very well, you too.
Yeah.
Okay, now clearly, okay, we have another caller. Let's take him or her. Good morning, sir or ma'am.
Good morning, Brother Blake.
Morning, sir.
I have a concern.
Tell me about it.
And the concern about these buses will employ people in the country. Now, when these people don't work for 25 years, 15 years, who so much years, and some of them money is very small, and now they don't work, the company closed, they have problem with them to sign together with severance pay. That is something serious, and they better look into these things. That's why I see, Brother Blake, I always tell people, you know, every time you're working for anybody, go down the social security, go save your money taking out, your money paying. Go save your money paying. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
And then they got officers will go on the job and investigate that. Too many people stop work, our company closed, and people got problem to get the money. Don't work so hard. You got to go every night, especially doing security work. Got to go every night. Sometimes to job and all you're doing to make ends meet. And when you don't work so hard, you're going all one bush to do your severance pay because what? They were taking out your money but was they saying so they refuse to sign. Because they know the problem if they sign and they could go penalized for that. Okay then, Brother Blake.
Alright. Yeah, that's a genuine, serious concern. It's illegal, it's immoral, and it's up to certain authorities to deal with that. But let's take this other caller. Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Morning.
How are you? How was the weather with you? Enjoy the weather?
I am enjoying it.
I did. Yes, Brother Blake, what happened, right? That it seems as though that we're drawing nearer to this show because they say when you see these things start to happen, like these kind of laws coming on, is maybe the Antichrist coming.
So we're drawing nearer to what?
I said when you see these kind of laws coming down on you to do this, to that means maybe it's the Antichrist coming, they say.
Okay.
Yeah, you gotta look up and look out. I don't know why they got to tell you to take vaccine to go to your bank account and take this either. And just as you suppose to, we used to get sign, we used to say, well, I don't tell. If I don't the bed and some rain coming, I can tell you and see the birds them up in here circling right down the bed, around the market, the area there. And I used to look at it and say, there's some good rain on coming up. And couple look at water after some heavy rain come put you so. A lot of people say, well, the whole time they believe in the mountain stupidness. So the whole time stupidness is well true here. That man of remember what lady was speaking his mind. I will tell you now. When he come to every, we call it, leap year. Yeah, with this kind of bad accident, what kind of thing gonna happen where you work. That's all them a thing, I believe with them. It's true. I can remember a time I saw a lady die pregnant in December, right around Keys here. You know, I don't know if the driver come around to her, that way, right over Keys got. And the girl died pregnant, I didn't know her good like how I know you. So, these things that happen, people don't take in this thing as a warning. As I say, the animals, them again, you see what happen, and some people know, a lot of we know, no got animals in our yard like before, so we can't see the sign. That's why when you see things go to do up the face, chop up the face up in the sky and I do up the skin up the mouth. So something like that really happening. And I mean, it's true. So we better don't doubt it. But
Seriously.
a lot of we don't believe in things anyway. So that's how it is. Yeah, they come on and talk about the cost, man. The cost going up every day. I hope somebody could come for you and deal with that.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, have a good day.
Thank you, you too. Alright. Hello, caller. Hello.
Blake.
Yes, really welcome.
Good morning, Mr. Blake.
Good morning, brother.
Just I want to speak to you about the program you had on yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
The vaccine business.
Yes.
The vaccine business going to be so green card
And we say, if you're going anywhere about jump out, then going away all kind of That's what made me a cool there.
Serious thing.
But people must realize that's how we want them go. Because I know you hear about the one world currency and the one world government.
Definitely. Oh yeah.
I show you hear about them kind of things. So people better be prepared. I don't want some of them to see these things, you know. I don't want some of them to see, but these things here, they're close boys.
Yeah.
They're close boys. Since yesterday I want to try me input. Well, when it comes to the vaccine, me the place me used to go use a stomach to St. Martin because me not go line up on a visa because then they got white sugar all over the world, them white and American and so. Them are the English people and me can't go me like no here and I was supposed to be under Britain. So me go St. Martin when me could go, that's where me used to go. That's the last place me went. After me visit done because I used to go St. Thomas, St. Christ. When embassy used to be in Antigua.
Right.
So we can Barbados, me now going to play because there's more money now and more money for play now and everything.
Right.
You understand?
Yes, sir.
So me cool now, me don't see nothing, me got to see nothing else.
Alright.
Well, I don't see nothing else, Mr. Blake. But I hear you begin with that thing this morning about promises. But people are promising, you know. That's human being, eh?
Yes.
It's gonna really happen. Me don't promise to already. People promise me to. All it is, eh?
Yes, man. All right. Understood. And certainly, we have been advised of certain end time signs, and I am one of those who believe that when these, just before that time, that end time, a lot of developments are going to happen fast and quick, fast and furious, not gradually, but in real quick time. Let's take this other caller. Hello.
Hi, good morning.
Morning, ma'am.
How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Okay, they also said that the whales, sometimes when you see them coming shore is because of something in the water, so they hear it, so they come to the shore.
Okay, well, it's a pity we don't have whales in our area.
Is it class 3?
Yeah, well, yes, to a point.
The English class?
The classes,
Okay.
yes.
Classes. Okay, thank you, Mr. Blake, and enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you, you too.
Bye.
All right, sure, no problem. The policy has been to ask for a small fee. You know, my fees I've been doing this for years, of course, everybody knows that. And I've had tremendous success in terms of students writing and passing the exams. And the policy has been to charge a small fee. I've always been the cheapest. But in these times, I certainly have, most of the students in the class now are attending gratis. You know, it's not a problem if they or their parents cannot afford to pay. So if you don't have the means by which to pay the small fee, feel free to come, please. Bear that in mind. Definitely, I'm not one of those insisting on what is already a small fee because I don't need it to survive. Thanks be to God. So feel free to come along. Now, the culture made reference to an individual who disagreed with him that Queen Elizabeth II, Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, is an individual worth emulating. I want to know if the person who criticized him is arguing or is saying that only persons of color, black people, should be recommended as those worth emulating, those worth imitating, those worth copying. Is that his argument? Because that argument is not only shallow, it's empty, and it's full of folly. So, as when we talk to our children who are black like we are, we must only point them to other persons of our color, our race, who they should copy, who they should try to be like, quote unquote. So there are no individuals of any other race, no individual of any other race who is worthy, whose behavior and actions are worthy of replicating, including those persons of other races, of course, who would have worked hard to help develop, to contribute to the growth and development of our own civilization. And I can list a whole set of names of persons, non-blacks, who would have dedicated their lives almost to ensuring that we blacks receive what is our due. Isn't that individual aware that, for example, Martin Luther King Jr. was accompanied and advised and supported by lots of white people? Has he ever looked at a photo of Martin Luther King and his matches, any of his matches? I mean, if Queen Elizabeth II, if Donald Trump, for that matter, as much as we despise his policies, his behaviors, his utterances, if in a particular area he has exuded certain characteristics, he has done certain things, he has followed certain policies which have proven to be successful and beneficial to people at large, what is wrong with recommending that? Because there's so much good in the worst of us and so much bad in the best of us that it hardly behoves any of us to talk ill about the rest of us. In other words, every man has his own strengths and weaknesses. Nobody is perfect in all areas. We don't even have to repeat that. That's a stale cliche now. So if we are recommending a particular individual as someone whom our young women or our young men should copy, why do we have to refer to race in that way? Then that individual is a racist. And it proves that it's not only so-called white folks who are racist, because that someone is worthy of emulation is not a factor or a product of color. It has to do with what the individual stands for, what he or she has done, what he or she, the platform that he or she mounts, that person's record of achievement and success. What does it have to do with color? Lots of black people have done excellently, but so have people of other color. Let's take this other color.
Yes, Brother Blake. In the Bible, as usual, the Bible says, there is not a just man upon earth that doeth good and sin it not. And the perfect example was when a multitude of people take one lady by herself, carry her up to Jesus, and say, Master, we just catch this woman down there in the act. How can one commit adultery in the act by themselves? So the first step they make, they were wrong. Definitely. Where is the man? We commit adultery in our heart before we do the act. And not even the best X-ray machine could diagnose an X-ray sin in anybody's heart. But when they reach up to Jesus with a pocket them full of stone, bucket and half on the head, I assume they had, ready to kill the woman, according to Moses' law, because all of them there, as far as they're concerned, they are sinless, they are holy. But you know, we know what the great Jesus said to them. He didn't even look up and see what color they be. Well, here the Master, we supposed to stone this woman here to death, you know, according to Moses' law. So we got to stone them. Okay, one little simple question, man. You, which one of you in the crowd ain't got no sin? Knock her down. Throw the first stone. You couldn't see them going west. And them watching one another in the face. Me and boy, you look so good looking. And you white. Me no know you got sin. Look at me who black. Me black and me look ugly. Me no know me got sin too. So when they don't look at people and discriminate against people for their complexion, come on, brother, one blood, one color red. Thank you, Brother Blake.
Thank you. Okay. Yeah, okay, we'll take another caller before we make another comment. Hello.
Good morning, Mr. Frank.
Good morning, this is Blake, not Frank.
Oh God, sorry about that, Mr. Blake. How are you today?
The program is Frank and Candid. Okay, I'm fine, thank you.
Okay, plenty rain, enjoy the weather. I want to say something about the vaccine, right? Because with the vaccine, some people saying they won't take it, some people saying they will take it.
Yes.
But if this corona going around and the scientists then find something for it, it's just like if you're sick and you go to the hospital, sometimes you have sugar, you have diabetes, you got cholesterol. It's the same thing they make to suit what you have. So if they make a vaccine to suit the corona, I don't think it'll do nobody no harm. Who want it, take it, and who don't want it, leave it. But push come to shove, and you don't have a choice. Some people don't like to take it because if you get that bad luck as we was, I'll take two.
Yeah.
I don't have a choice. So it's just like if you're sick and you go to the hospital, if you have to do an operation and that's give you an injection to put you to sleep, that's an all bad. So right now we come up, you either take it or leave it, and it is what it is. You understand? So the vaccine, I don't think you can do nobody no harm, but people just making it seem like it's so bad. Maybe think that man look how we talking. Like for me, I feel an injection, but if I don't have a choice, I will have to take it, because if you're sick and you're taking medication for your sugar and your diabetes, it's the same thing. You have to take the vaccine to suit the corona.
No, but the question is whether adults should have a choice to get the vaccine, take the vaccine or not. That is what we're discussing. Should you as an adult have a choice, or should you be told, hey, I don't care whether you're 10 years or 50 or 95, you have to take this vaccine, otherwise you can't do this and you can't do that, and so on and so forth. That's what we're talking about.
I don't hear, I just hear someone about saying that if you don't take it, you can't walk, you can't travel, and you can't do certain things. So for me, I know if I have to travel and I have to take it, I will take it. But who don't want to take it, and I have a choice, I don't have to take it. But some people will take it because what they're doing, they have to take it, especially people who work in front line, police, officers, doctors, these, they have to take it. You understand?
Okay.
It is what it is. You know, you either do or die. If you don't take it, you don't die. And if you take it, I don't think it can kill you. It's just going to prevent you from spreading it or picking it up. So let me just pray about it, okay?
Okay.
Bye.
All right, bye. I thought she was going to say, if you don't take it, you're going to die. And if you do take it, you'll still die. So you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. As it were. We have another caller. Let's take him. Hello.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Loudly and clearly.
Okay, well, basically, on the virus thing, right, the vaccine thing, right, look at the picture I am legend with Will Smith, where it is, that a vaccine and a cure for cancer, and end up mutating the whole humanity. And also, look at Demolition Man with Sylvester Stallone and Wesley Snipes, where it is, they are this perfect society, but in the end, it was run by one person, and it lead to corruption, because even those in the sewer had to basically run away from the so-called perfect society, which was run by an individual, which is the same thing being belong to right now, party of one world leader. So when it comes to the vaccine, hey, they didn't have a playbook when it first came out. So with the vaccine, we didn't really have a playbook with that thing and mutate and germinate and make everybody zombies or even worse off. That's my input. Have a nice day.
Thank you very much. Must admit, some of what you said escaped me, but I think I got the gist of it. Let's take another caller. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Good morning.
To you as well.
The biggest driving force of any living species is the survival of that species.
Definitely.
Right? Definitely. I mean, it supersedes or take precedence over all other instincts. And man is no different. And so if it is clear that any event, whether it's the coronavirus, whether it's a meteor on course to crash into the earth, or some drastic climate change, man will always respond in a way to assure its survival. Okay? You see it at the personal level, you see it at the family level, the country level, and the international level. And so, once we are faced with a threat, and in this case it's the coronavirus, you can expect a survival response at all levels, from personal right up, okay? And personal rights will take a back seat, right? And what you will find coming to the fore are the rights of each unit, each country, to protect itself, and ultimately the world at large, all right? They have to do this to ensure that we are not exterminated. The question is, how big a threat is there? So if a vaccine comes, what will determine if it is taken is if leaders in particular decide that it is necessary for the survival of their countries and the world as we know it. Okay, because can we really rely on the individual people to make the correct choices that affect them? And remember, it's not just their personally. It may be their right to die if they want, but it is also others' rights not to be infected. And so who decides? I mean, the courts, the governments, who decides, right? I think in the final analysis, we elect governments to make sure that these tough decisions are made for the collective good, all right? And I think we'd have to rely on them more than anybody else, since there is no real world government. I mean, we could do it by consensus, going to the United Nations and say, and vote on something, okay? Vote on the kinds of protocols that all nations should adopt, for instance. That can be done. But until that time, it's going to depend on leaders to do the right thing. And that is why it's so important that we have correct leaders, wise leaders, people who are visionary, and people who do the right thing. Okay, that's my...
Right. Okay. Now, of course, the question of doing things for the greater good, for the benefit of the majority, always is used as justification for governments, leaders in authority to undertake certain actions.
That's true.
However, when we notice at times that huge numbers, massive numbers of persons take to the street to demonstrate, to protest against those very actions, you wonder what is the legitimacy of those claims by the ruling elite, the ruling potentates, to claim, what is the legitimacy of their claim that they're doing this for the common good, when those same common people are out in their numbers saying, hey, we don't want this, we are against it. And so the question is...
Well, the thing with that is, right, it depends on the issue, right? In this case, an issue can be backed by things like scientific facts. Shouldn't we yield to the science? I think what you talk about there when people are in the streets protesting is when they question a particular policy of the government. Okay?
No, but I can assure you. I can assure you that in the democracies of the world, anytime it is made clear.
In this case, right, isn't the whole question based on scientific fact? Can't it be proven, for instance, that if we don't take a particular action, say A, that the consequences will be B, really dire consequences? And in that case, okay, it's not a matter of personal feeling and emotion anymore, right? It's a matter of science and facts, analysis and all of that. Okay?
Yeah. Listen, Bellman, I want to assure you that anytime any of the so-called great democracies decide and propagate the decision that taking the vaccine is now mandatory, even though it is supported by all the scientific data in the world, that people will be hitting the road to say, hey, you're infringing again on my right to decide whether I should accept this or not. Even though it is supported, it is backed, even though it is backed by the science. And excuse me, caller. You have to, if I am making a response, you have to give me a chance to, you know, instead of interrupting like that. You know, that's not the thing in the world. But in any event, you really drowned out my response, so carry on.
No. What I'm saying is that, sure, you could have thousands of people on the road protesting, but unless they're prepared to go on an island by themselves and take whatever chances they wish, if they're going to stay here with the rest of the populace, right, and so threaten the existence of that population, then you have to question what are they actually demonstrating about.
So the question of rights becomes null and void.
Right, in circumstances like that.
Right, okay, that's what you boiled down to. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay then.
Thank you. Okay, so that not only are you subsumed by the primacy of government policy, but they become non-existent, as it were. Let's take this caller. Hello? Hello? Yes, we welcome you.
Hello there.
Yes, sir.
But we touched something that we want to talk about, Martin Luther Because he was full black and white, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you understand how Kennedy get dead? You understand it? Or do you understand it?
Well, I know how he died. Yeah, he was shocked.
Well, because he was for black people too, because Martin Luther had too much problem in America at them time that he went to his office, and when he went to his office, Kennedy India and his family watching television with the people, got a dog and a hose and everything from black people. And the guy takes side with the black people and with Martin Luther. That's why they did, you know. And that's why the man did, you know.
Okay.
I got documentary with it.
Okay.
That's why he did.
So you're saying that
white people say that he put black people too. So that's the problem.
Okay.
All the best.
Thank you. Okay, that's a new theory that John F. Kennedy was killed because some fraction of white people were against the idea that he was in Martin Luther King's corner. Well, that's interesting. Let's take another caller. Hello? Hello?
Yes, good morning.
Hi, how do you do?
I'm good.
Nice to know.
Am I on?
Sorry?
Am I on?
Yes, you are. I'm hearing you.
Okay. Okay, Mr. Blake, one of your callers talk about, you were talking about the science and the facts.
Yes.
But we seem to forget that if some quack science come up with this COVID in a lab, you know, this thing ain't just come out the ear. Some quack science went in a lab and bring up this stuff. So even if the scientists them come up with a cure, matter of fact, I believe they don't have the cure. It's not all of them playing because the fact that they created this crop, I believe they will have the cure. But it's all about enriching oneself. And we must remember that the drug manufacturer and all the science and the doctors, all of them work together. They're all in cahoots. It's all about I get rich and you get peace and everybody get piece of the pie. While the poor people is the one who really suffer under all this mess. So scientists, I'm not impressed with them, you know, because they're a bunch of quacks. Number one, they don't believe in God. And then them doing a lot of the mess, you see, happening on this earth. You have a good day, Mr. Blake.
Thank you very much. All right. I didn't want to take that route, but certainly the caller, my good friend there, would have known that there are times when science has been proven to be wrong. That science is not at all times entirely correct. Now, I do agree that there are some so-called scientists who are not genuine, but I will not subscribe to the view that scientists in general are quacks or that they do not believe in God. Of course, there are many who do and many who don't, just like among the non-scientific community. Let's take this other caller. Hello?
Yes, good morning, Mr. Blake.
Morning, ma'am.
Yes, on the issue with the vaccine, I was listening to your interaction with a previous caller, good gentleman,
yes,
on it, and I support your sort of pushback because I think we can be very, how should I say, in our minds, think that this is the case. That in the area of the vaccine, I cannot see that any country, at least any democratic country, can force its citizens to take this particular vaccine. This has been having so much public discussion, international discussion, that we are hearing some of the flaws here, the flaws there, people who have certain underlying things, we don't know whether it might, you know, and the time it might take to really run the clock on whether or not it is safe for this or that. So even if it is becomes available, and we'll be happy to see when it's available, and even if the countries have access to it, I cannot see that any democratic government can tell its citizens, you can encourage them, but to tell them. But even from a practical point of view, what basis would you have to be able to enforce it? Now, wearing a mask is different because that's something visual. You can see and you can determine if you're going to go into this space and so you must wear a mask.
Right.
But in terms of a vaccine, what you're gonna how can you determine that somebody hasn't taken? I mean, some of the people who are at home, they're not going to work and what have you, to say, well, they have to show a certificate to show that this, you know.
Because any certificate can be copied.
Pardon me?
Any certificate can be fake.
Exactly.
Copied.
So I cannot see the thing. But I will be glad when this vaccine becomes available, and if people can be encouraged, if the governments and different people feel it is safe, it would be good. But in terms of setting a thing and saying you must take it, that can't happen. Take care.
Thank you. Not only that, the caller, my good friend, would know that the side effects of some medicines and vaccines and so on hasten the death of the individual. I mean, I hear sometimes of the side effects of some drugs that are being promoted on television and radio. And I said, are they serious about this thing? I have problem A, and I want to take vaccine B to help me. But vaccine B is going to create, or medicine B is going to create problems C, D, E, F, G, and W. Let's take this other caller.
Mr. Blake?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir.
Good morning. And also I would say good morning to all of the listeners at home and abroad.
Very well.
Mr. Blake, I find that there is a lot of foolishness in many discussions on the color of people in relation to who is black
and who isn't,
and who is white. Mr. Blake, there is a dictionary that I would search in my thrust to get a good education. I have 3 books, the Bible, the dictionary, and my hymn book that I have close to me that to use. Now, in the dictionary, it says that a Negro is a black person. But you know what? Discussions in these times, nobody's talking about Negro. Because the dictionary puts it clearly that a Negro is a black person. What lots of people are saying that an African, which the dictionary says is a dark-skinned person, it didn't say a black, but it says dark-skinned. Well, put it in perspective. It does not mean that the person is white. However, the dictionary also says that an African is a native of Africa. And that does not seem to have any status in our conversations in these times, a native of Africa. You know why? Because Africa is a continent of many countries.
54.
Right. And so some people are eliminating some of them because they do not want them to have the word, natives of those countries, to have the word African attached to them. Some people are thinking that African must have a light or a dark-skinned person as the meaning of the word. Now, many years ago, I spoke on radio station Win FM when they were discussing the same issue to tell Miss Tony Frederick that tonight I do not think and I do not consider her to be a black person. But that was how it was being discussed then. And so I think she should not be involved in the discussion to see herself as a black person. Also, in recent times, the talk of Kamala Harris being a black person to be the Vice President of the United States, when I look at the picture of the supposed to be president and the supposed to be vice president, I hardly see a difference. Tell me if I am wrong. The color seemingly is about the same.
Really?
So that all of this nonsense that we are having about who is African and who is not, that is where it doesn't make a lot of sense. Because some countries in Africa, although they are on the continent of Africa, their natives are not called any Africans. And only those countries where there are, so to speak, black people or dark-skinned people are called Africans. That, to me, my friend, does not comply with intelligent thinking. So let me hear your discussion on that. Thank you.
Okay, I wish there were time, but we only have a minute left. But certainly, I think we're going to take this final caller. But
Okay,
blackness...
let me get somebody else then.
Okay.
You hear?
All right, no problem.
Yeah, okay.
But I think the argument lies is that blackness is not a function of color. Blackness is not a function of color. Whereas being African is something geographic, something territorial. Let's take this caller. Hello?
Yes, Mr. Blake, good morning again. You know, I'm thinking about this vaccine, and Mr. Blake, remember, when you get this thing, what they're doing really is introducing the virus to your body, you know. So it's like whether you want or not, they want to introduce this virus to your body and hope that it will not kill you in the process. Because just like the flu, I grew up here in America, and I never had a flu shot. Never had a need to go get a flu shot till I let some doctor convince me. Oh, you're over 50, get a flu shot. And let me tell you, Mr. Blake, I can honestly tell you, I thought I was gonna die after I got that flu shot. You want to talk about pain I never felt before in my life. Pain sick like a dog after this flu shot was introduced to my body. The thing almost killed me. So we have to really be careful. Only God alone can help us, and we need to just look to God and pray to God for help, because we need it more than ever in these trying times. You have a blessed day.
Okay, thank you. And that was our last caller. What we're going to do tomorrow, my good friend Mr. Welsh, we're going to continue the discussion of the definition of blacks and being African and being black, because I agree with him, there are some fundamental differences between both. So we will continue that discussion tomorrow. Until such time, ladies and gentlemen, as I thank you for being a part of the discussion today, please remember, do the right thing. Enjoy the weather.
Radio, entertaining the nation, enjoyed by the world.
You think that now? Hey, soul lovers! The St. Kitts Nevis National Carnival Committee presents the 2020 Calypso 10, a virtual series on November 14th. Legend! November 21st, Round Sound! November 28th, Legend! And December 5th, Round Sound! Exclusive streaming at 8 p.m. on the SKN Carnival Facebook page, YouTube channel, and on ZIZ Radio and Television. These events are made possible by our platinum partner, ZIZ Broadcasting Corporation. Our gold sponsors, the St. Kitts Nevis Development Bank and the Royal St. Kitts Hotel. Carnival celebrations redefined for Sugar Mass 49.
Digital is not a buzzword, it is a culture. At Digicel, we've made it our mission to enrich your digital lives. That's why we're bringing together more of all the experiences you love. The latest shows, the best of local and international music and radio, live sports, cloud storage, breaking news, HD video chats, and more. Welcome to Digital at Digicel, the Caribbean's fastest mobile network. Digicel, better together.
Watch the creeper. Look out! Look out!